Kept my boots on gravel, kept my eyes ahead. Didn't ask what followed, just our inward bled. Sky stayed wide and open, I call that being free. But miles don't mean you're steady, they just mean you flee. Lines started bending, maps went thin. Everything I trusted wouldn't hold me. If it was burning hard enough, it had to be me. Clouds quit making sense, silence felt like blame. If I kept the engine running, I wouldn't feel the shame. Hands tied on the wheel, foot pressed through the floor. I wasn't chasing something, I was fighting the door. Truth don't chase you down, it waits where you've been. And the harder that you drive it, the deeper you dig in. Every second, now or never, every problem wore my name. I dove head first in the fire just to feel something break. Turn the volume up to drown it, call the chaos me. If it was loud enough and burning, it had to be me. It wasn't courage, it was noise. It wasn't vision, it was void. I wasn't saving anything, I was scared to slow. Smoking gun. Some fires die without you, some flames don't need the air. All that noise I thought was urgent was fear. Let it burn out, let it be.
Tremors were there long before anything gave away. I felt them in the quiet, I just looked the other way. I didn't feel the earthquake until I did. The shaking came in small waves, I learned to stand it out. I called it keeping balance, I called it riding it out. I didn't feel the earthquake until I did. But I didn't feel the earthquake. Dust settled in the doorway, at least that's what I said. I stood there in the quiet and tested where I'd step. No sirens in the distance, no smoke left in the sky, but every ship beneath me answered back in kind. It's the aftershock, nothing falling down, but nothing feels like solid ground. You learn to stand without demanding more. Inside the aftershock, I moved a little slower, listened as I went. The floorboards didn't break, they just wouldn't settle in. It wasn't loud or violent, it wasn't crashing through, just small reminders of what shaking can still do. Trust comes back in pieces, thin and laid. You take the step in front of you and let the rest just wait. Ground. I'm relearning where to stand. Nothing broken in the driveway, no glass on the floor, no raised voices in the hallway, no slam screen door. I was standing where I'd always stood, in a house I thought I knew, when the quiet turned a corner and let the truth come through. This is happening. This is happening. The light came through the window, the same as any day. Coffee on the counter, and nothing out of place. But something in my chest shifted without a sound, like boots on hollow timber on untested ground. This is happening. This is happening. Yeah, this is happening. This is happening. This is happening. Yeah, this is happening. it doesn't end, you're never happening. Yeah, this is happening. Didn't try to drown it out, I just stood there and let it settle down. Wake up in a quieter room, sunlight through the blinds. Dust hangs where the air don't move and settles in the lines. Your picture's still above the shelf, I don't take it down. Some mornings it's just memory, some mornings it's the sound. I don't have answers for the pain, I just sit with what remains. This one feels unresolved, almost fragile. Coffee cooling on the stove, boots beside the door. I still reach for what we were, like it's there once more. But the air don't answer back, it only lets me breathe. So I lean into the quiet and let it steady me. I don't have answers for the pain, I just live with what remains. I don't need to know the why or trace where all it led. Some things don't have to be solved, they have to be carried instead. I don't have answers for the pain, but I'm still standing just the same. I don't have answers for the pain, I just live with what remains. Now it's not passive, it's steady. Some things never leave your life, they just change the way you stand. I spent my life just traveling from joy to pain and back again. I thought that strength was silence, I was wrong. Oh, I was wrong. Addiction and heartache walked beside me. I burned down the things I loved the most. Watched my family fade like smoke behind me. I was alone, felt so alone. In the ashes, grace was waiting. I heard every wrong turn I had made. God kept reaching, softly saying, "You're not gone, just come my way. Just come my way." Through the love that never left me, faith, my friends, my family, a hand to hold when I was empty, and a woman's love that held me, see. There were nights I begged for mercy, mornings I prayed for peace, but the storms of life passed me by when I finally fell and hit my knees. In the ashes, grace was waiting. Heard every wrong turn I made. God kept reaching, softly saying, "You're not gone, just come my way." There were nights I begged for mercy, mornings I prayed for peace, but the storms of life passed me by when I finally fell, hit my knees. Got up from there on solid ground. Help me, Lord, to not fall down. I ain't got this all figured out, but where I've been ain't where I'm at. In the ashes, grace was waiting, and it felt so good to me on that Sunday. God had reached me, softly saying that I was always here, and you found my way. Bent the truth to fit your frame, hung my name on your mistakes. Every crack you couldn't face, you tried to carve into my shape. I wore the blame like it was mine, carried weight I didn't earn, called it love and called it time. Watched the story twist and burn, but silence has a breaking point, and so do I. You don't get to rewrite who I am. You don't get to rewrite who I am. You can talk, you can lie, you can try, but you don't get to rewrite who I am. You get to rewrite who I am. Truth, I called it control. You called me lost, I paid the toll. Every time called it mine. I've been bruised, I stayed too long. Try to keep the peace by staying small, but shrinking down to keep you tall ain't love at all. You can spin it any way you want, but I know where I stand. You don't get to rewrite who I am. You don't get to rewrite who I am. You can throw dirt, you can shift the blame, but I won't answer to your name. You don't get to rewrite who I am. You don't get to rewrite who I am.
Say it loud, say it proud. Truth don't bend just 'cause you shout.
I didn't leave to win the fight, I left to keep my name. And I won't trade my skin again for someone else's shame. You don't get to rewrite who I am. You don't get to rewrite who I am. You don't get to rewrite who I am. You can talk, you can lie, you can try, but you don't get to rewrite who I am. You don't get to rewrite who I am. You don't get to rewrite who I am. Not now! Windows open in the morning, air moving through the room. Didn't wake up with a question, didn't wake up bracing doom. No headline in my chest, no weight behind my eyes. Just the sound of something ordinary passing by. Left the dishes in the sink, didn't rush to make them shine. Some things don't need fixing, some things just take time. Sunlight on the hardwood, dust hanging in the air. Didn't try to name the feeling, just let it sit there. No lesson in the quiet, no message in the blue. Nothing trying to correct me, nothing left to prove. There's nothing to carry today, no path knocking at my door, no future pulling me away from this floor. No answer rising up, no memory to outrun. Just a day that isn't asking what I've done. It's not forgiveness, it's not repair, it's not becoming something, it's just there. Nothing to carry today, no storm behind the sky, no shadow in the hallway passing by. Just breathe, moving slow, just light across the room. Nothing trying to teach me anything too soon. windows open in the morning. That'll do. I didn't dress it up for comfort, didn't sand the edges down. Told you where it all went sideways, how close I came to the ground. There were nights I barely made it, days I couldn't see straight. Stories most would step back from, if they heard him face to face. I laid it all there between us, didn't leave a thing unsaid. I braced myself for distance, for you to shake your head. But you heard the worst of me, and you stayed. Yeah, you heard the worst of me, and you stayed when the truth was heavy in the room, and there was nowhere left to hide. You didn't run, you didn't fade, you just stayed, and that's where I'm supposed to be. I met you on steadier footing, not the man I used to be. Still learning how to carry what that season did to me. You didn't need a perfect past, didn't need a clean slate, just someone standing in the truth, not afraid of its weight. No fireworks or rescue, no promises carved in stone, just two people in the open, not pretending we don't know. You heard the worst of me, and you stayed. Yeah, you heard the worst of me, and you stayed when I put it all out in the light and let you see the cracks. You didn't turn your back, you stayed, and that's where I'm supposed to be. But you heard the worst of me, and you stayed. Yeah, you heard the worst of me, and you stayed when the truth was heavy in the room, and there was nowhere left to hide. You didn't run, you didn't fade, you just stayed, and that's where I'm supposed to be. Where I'm supposed to be. Morning comes without asking, same road, same rust. Some days I wake up steady, some days I wake up rust. I don't ask it where it's taking me, I don't bargain for a sign. I just put one foot in front of the other and call it mine. Some days I wanna disappear, let the silence win, but the ground don't move beneath me, so came knocking with a voice I knew too well. Every doubt I ever carried tried to ring that bell. But I don't chase what almost broke me. I don't argue with regret. I just stand where I'm standing and let the dark pass, yeah. I felt the urge to run before I know that road by name. But staying isn't weakness, it's choosing not to change. I stay when it gets quiet, when the noise all disappears, when the easy way is walking out. I'm still here, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm not here because it's simple. I'm not here because I'm strong. I'm here because I finally learned leaving wasn't wrong. Staying just meant something. I couldn't walk away, not this time, not today. I stay when it gets quiet, when the noise all disappears, when the easy way is walking out. I'm still here.